Hey everybody, it's Thursday, January 26th, 2023. I've obviously got the water closet door up. Emily did a great job painting the moon on there. That way there's no doubt on what that is. But turned out great. Doors held up well. We still got to figure out the latch for it, but everything turned out really nice. Got it all done. So there's a done stamp. We've ordered cabinets. So this is the new layout of this wall. So because we added cabinets there, we got to move the sink over. Finally ordered the refrigerator. But the cabinets come in next week. So what that means, because we put the cabinet here, so I had to move the sink over. Also raised the Studer valve, which is what the inspector said would help. He said didn't have to, but it would help. I originally was trying to hide it behind the sink, but he said you really want it higher. Just helps with venting, and obviously if it backs up, you know, it's not going to overflow there. Where it'll overflow is back here where the washer and dryer drain is, or the washer drain. So anyways, had to move the drains over and redo all that back there. So got that done, just barely. The cold water is gonna fit here, hot water is gonna fit here, so the Studer valve and that pipe is gonna go in between them. I didn't go any farther over because, well, there's metal there, and we also have to save room for all that stuff. So that's really what we've been doing. There hasn't really been much, in my opinion, video worthy. It's not that something hasn't been going on here. There's always something going on. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna go check on the Beaver Dam, and I'll tell you a little bit about what was going on down there. Now, up here is where the barn is. The Beaver Dam and pond is like way down here. So we're gonna go check that out. It is Florida Wetlands down there. We had to get this stuff delineated to find out what truly was wetlands, because what happens is the government just takes a rough elevation map, figures out where it could flood, where wetlands probably are, and they just throw it over the property appraiser's website. Well, you hire environmentalists to come out and they walk your land and they figure out where the wetlands are. Without a doubt, our wetlands are down in here. They were up in here, but that's really where the storm runoff from the neighborhood goes down, which did create sort of wetlands. But let's go see what the wetlands look like, and I'll tell you what happened there on the path that I cut when we first bought the property, try and see where the creek was. Never found it until we got the guy out here with the mulching machine to mulch a path back here. Now, we have had more rain in the past week than we've probably gotten in the past 3 or 4 months. So you can see that this turned into a great big river. So Sunday we wanted to check on the Beaver Dam because we knew the water had to have been overtaking the dam, which it was. So we came walking down here. Our neighbor brought his tractor down here, and because I think he didn't have the right boots, or I don't know. Anyways, he drove his tractor back here. Now, typically, we've driven our tractor back here, but not since all this water is here. He made it to about that tree, and the tractor sank. Now, it didn't flood, but it came pretty darn close. The battery was underwater. His alternator was underwater, all this stuff. So, we spent the majority of Sunday evening trying to pull his tractor out. I got my truck stuck. Our tractor wouldn't pull it out. We ended up having to call a neighbor. The neighbor's got a 5-ton like old military truck that had a 1/2-inch cable on a winch, and we were able to get it down there. But basically I spent Sunday evening till about 8:30 at night with our neighbor and help of some other neighbors swimming in this, trying to find a place to latch the cable to pull the tractor out, which we finally did. Now, I know you guys are probably disappointed because you're like, Quinn, why didn't you film all this? Well, I didn't want to kick the guy when he was down, first of all, and shoot video of it while that was going on. So anyways, that is why I did not film it, is I didn't feel like it was appropriate. But it would have been kind of funny for the memory, I guess. but I was really in not a good mood when that all happened. We didn't think he would have gotten stuck back there. We knew it was deep, but the fact it's been underwater, it's basically swamp or Florida wetlands. So let's go take a closer look. So here we are right on our property line. There's kind of a deer trail that goes right back here. And I had to go that way because, again, even my mud dog boots or whatever they are aren't high enough to walk through this, which again, this is why the tractor got stuck. The tractor got stuck right about here, and it was stuck there for about 3 hours. This is the normal path that we used to drive the tractor on, and that's where we were standing just a minute ago showing you this angle. So that path came right down here. So for him to drive his tractor down here wasn't really too dumb, I would say. It got really deep and it was really wet, and the wheels just sank. So the Beaver has been super busy, if you haven't been able to tell. All this is new to try to stop all the water. We're gonna come over here real quick. Hopefully I don't flood these boots. There's that part of the dam. Like I said, I've been swimming enough in this creek to last me a couple weeks, or at least until it's summer. But yeah, the water's slowing up because he's building the dam higher and higher. You guys saw the footage Emily put up. Had the bobcat. The bobcat was walking over in here. But yeah, he's really created a huge mess. I don't hear the water flowing as much, so I don't know if he stopped it up over here. But I wanted to show you guys the other side of this, which I don't think it's going to be as dramatic because, well, the rain stopped. But we've gotten 3 to 4 inches of rain within the past 4 or 5 days. So let's go check out the other side, because this thing's getting kind of unruly. We're on the other side of the creek. Now this is why it's all wetlands, because it's wet. Common sense, right? This is basically a swamp. Where we were at was just right over there where the big Beaver Dam is, and there was a dam here, but we've gotten so much water that it finally overtook that dam and it's opened up. And this is what the creek should look like, going all the way back to the other side of the property. So it's not as dramatic as it was last night, but I didn't have my phone on me because I knew we were gonna be tromping around here in the woods and on the water, and I didn't expect to see what we saw. But this whole area was a waterfall. Waterfall with water coming over the sides into here. But our property looks like this going all the way to the west, which I'm not gonna go walk it because it's still wet like all this. But what it should look like is what we're seeing right now. A little bit of a creek here, and then the floodplain and wetlands over here. Good thing with the wetlands, we've had barred owls, we've got a couple resident hawks, we got a pileated woodpeckers, wood ducks, beavers, bobcats. Our neighbor's seen a black bear, 600-pound black bear somewhere out here. We haven't seen him yet, which hopefully we don't see him right now because I don't have my running shoes on. But other than that, this is what the Florida wetlands look like. And this is what our property should look like. But we've got a beaver dam that's made it really wet. The other thing I did on Tuesday and Wednesday morning is I got our weed eater out and I ran the weed eater around the entire pond or lake, whatever. My brother still says if it's over 3 acres, it's a lake. So anyways, you can also see, I haven't shot the pond in a while, but all those little dirt mounds where the low spots were sticking up. Now we only have like a tiny one there and a couple here. So the water here has raised about a foot in about 4 or 5 days. And I'm pretty sure it's still going up, but I'm happy to see it. We needed the rain. The rain is not really coming from the storm ditch. Again, that's the water table, so the amount of rain we've had has raised the water table. But you guys know and have seen the numerous videos of me doing the storm ditch there. We did get quite a bit of water, but not what you would think. Most of the rainwater just comes off the land because it does slope. So you can see there's little washouts here. There's a big washout up here, which eventually I've got to fix. But when it's $1,000 for a truckload of limestone rock, you kind of do what you can, because well, you don't want to know what we've already spent on trying to fix that and get it right. And the guy that we hired, he did a good job, not a great job. I really get the feeling I knew more than he did. But other than that, this is the pond. There's a point to this because where we're going is a different part of the property. You guys have heard me talk about these raised horse trails. Well, I think not only were they raised horse trails, there's one right here, but I think it was also a berm for the runoff. Jefferson County, again, is known for being really wet. That's why the Indians were here, I guess. Where there's water, there's food. So anyways, we were trying to explore where the storm ditch that you saw me working on the other day comes down, cuts across, and goes back in here. With all the rain we had Sunday, which again was about 2 inches of rain is what they were predicting. I don't know what the actual accumulation was, but we figured we'd come down here and see what's going on with this storm ditch, because I know it comes down here. And looking at that property map, there's something that says there's 2 culverts, but according to that property map or plat, those culverts should be way back in there. But I really think they were here, and eventually they just got washed out. Because this is obviously not Mother Nature made. You can see raised there, raised there. So I'm pretty sure there are culverts here. Where they ended up, who knows? They got washed out 20 years ago. They're probably farther down the creek. Let's see if I can get across here, because I want to show you what we found. And this is on the neighbor's property. But again, we were walking back here to try to figure out where this water is going to get a better understanding of our land. Now, there's real no path to get back here. I think it was just the way the light was hitting everything near sunset. There was a kind of an unmaintained dirt road back here, probably just so you could drive on your property and see what you own. But anyways, the way the light was shining Tuesday night, it's like this dead tree was kind of, I don't know, glowing. It's kind of weird and creepy, but it's just the way the light was hitting it. As we got a little closer, we realized it was more than just a tree. There is a massive, massive sinkhole that swallowed that live oak. So haven't made it down there yet. Haven't really found an easy way to get down there. Over there where that log's at might be easy, but it's a good 15-20 foot drop down in there. Now, the amount of rain that we had, you would have thought this would have filled up a little bit. But again, that's probably where the water table's at. Those of you that know my former life, and those of you that are my friends from my former life that are still watching these videos, are already going to be asking the question, is there a hole under the water? Well, haven't figured that out. Again, not my property. Kind of scary that there's a sinkhole near us, but it's Florida. They're common. But that does mean there's some kind of a cave system or aquifer underneath us, which again, it's Florida. But just another one of those weird little things out here at Deer Run Farm.